Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have our Life Organizer Coach back with us, and that's the website, lifeorganizercoach.com. Deborah C. Miller, welcome back today. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. It's a gloomy day here, but we'll get through it. It's winter.
And where are you?
I'm in Westfield, Indiana, kind of near Indianapolis.
Beautiful. And you are a professional organizer. We're excited to have you back here. And for those new time listeners, tell us a little bit about the work you do to start.
Well, I am passionate about helping people get ready for everyday emergencies and empowering them to get their information together. And a lot of times the people I work with are folks who are in that sandwich generation. They've got parents that they're taking care of. They've also got people at home that they have to manage. So it can be very difficult to keep track of all the paperwork and information that comes to them on a regular basis. So what I do is I help people manage and organize their documents and paperwork.
There's a lot of organization that could be done, but we all need some help. You have a great grab and go system. There's so much to talk about. But first, would you mind sharing how we can contact you?
Okay, let me share this on my screen, and this will give you some, how about that? Can you see it?
Perfect. Yes, I do. Thank you so much. There we go. My Life Organizer. And don't forget the book is available on Amazon. If you're on the podcast, you may not be able to see what we're talking about, but there's her book. We're going to talk more about this catalog that she offers. Also, the number 317-399-9905. And again, that's My Life Organizer. I'm sorry, it's lifeorganizercoach.com, correct?
Correct.
Beautiful.
Life Organizer. Yep. Sometimes it gets confusing. So
that's okay. Talk to me. Yeah. So what did you want to share for today?
Well, there are so many people who live at home. There are 12 million older adults that live at home. And of those, about 70% are women. And so when you think about it, there's a lot of people who need help. And typically one spouse in a household will keep track of all the information that's, where do the banks, what banks are there, where's the checkbook, how do you write a check, all of those kinds of things are always taken care of, typically by one person in the household. The other one may know a little bit about where everything is, but not always. And so what I do is I help people organize so that they can share that information in the event of an emergency. So it doesn't matter whether it's a medical emergency, which is probably what most older adults would experience, but there could be, things like house fires and winter storms that make you stay inside and, may cause you to have to leave your house. And in that case, you need to have all the information available so you can manage your household outside of your normal household kinds of things. So what I do is I have my book, which is kind of a fill in the blank book so that you can keep track of everything. But the first part of my system is what I call a grab and go binder. And that's really quite easy for people to get started. But the big part of it all is, okay, you get started, then what happens? How do you keep going? How do you finish up what you start? Because a lot of times we get so discouraged because there's so much that we think we have to do that we stop doing it, or we get partway through it and don't finish it off. And that's where I can come in and help. I help people by coaching them through the process, whether it's setting up a system for them individually or helping them with what I call a master class, which is a weekly meeting on Zoom where we go through and answer questions and make sure that you're on track and that things are working the way they should be working. So
Good. Well, I think it's also important to find out how you got your start because this is a Zoom now. I want to make sure we know a little bit about your background. Do you mind sharing that with us?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I I had to take care of my own parents when they were hospitalized for several weeks. And unfortunately, they lived in Missouri and I lived in Indiana. So it was a difficult time. I had to leave my house and go take care of them and try to find all the stuff that we needed while they were in the hospital to pay their bills and all of that kind of stuff. And then a few years ago, my husband ended up in the hospital for 2.5 months. And he was in Indianapolis and we lived 2 hours away. And so I spent a lot of my time at the hospital trying to organize and get stuff moving. And unfortunately, it can be so stressful. It adds to the stress and anxiety that people feel when they don't have what they need when they need it. And so that's how I got started. My first product, so to speak, was a Microsoft Word document that I had just typed all the information into, and that became my life organizer book. It became this checklist and fill in the blank workbook for people to use so that they can keep track of everything in one place.
And by the way, when did you write this book?
The book was written 4 years ago, so it's been around for a while. It started out, like I said, as a binder, and it has legs. And now I have a second book that's for your health, and it's my health organizer, and it's a small booklet that you can keep track of individual medical information. So each person in your household will have their own book. So that you can, if you go, every time you go to a new doctor, you have to fill out all those forms and all the historical stuff. When was your last doctor's appointment? What surgeries have you had? What dates were those? Was your parents, what kind of medical history did your parents have? All of that information I always forget. And, I start writing stuff down and it's like, when was that? I don't remember. So having all the information gathered in a small book can be very helpful for you as you're moving through the process.
Now, also for those out there who can really relate and empathize like myself when it comes to organization, not the best at it. And I find mental stress and trauma in trying to get everything together. And especially in this day and age, right? Because not only am I talking my life as an unorganized in the household, but digitally, right? All the phones, the memories, it's like everything is stacking up. And now I have digital clutter. And could I ask how you're helping people with that digital space, right? Because overuse of your phone with your photos, your videos, it's like there's so much that's, I feel like I need help with that too. And are you noticing a lot of this digital stuff happening and you can help us with that too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because, we all have passwords. We all have all of the stuff stored in the cloud somewhere or other. And sometimes it's safe and sometimes it's not. But having all of that information in a place that you can get to it and it's organized in a way that makes some sense. For example, I make it a habit of downloading all the pictures off of my phone because several years ago, my phone disappeared and
Ah,
about 10 years worth of photos that I never was able to recover because the phone disappeared. And so you want to make sure that on a regular basis that you're backing up your pictures and your phone and your information from the internet someplace and having it written down. If something would happen and you don't have cell service, your
yeah.
phone's not going to be very helpful to you. You may not be able to get um, to your phone numbers and all of that kind of information. So writing it down physically is a really smart thing to do. Having it in multiple places. Um, So, one of the hard things is keeping motivated in order to finish up the project. We all want to January 1st, we've got all of these goals that we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we're all organized. We're going to take care of things. And about 2 weeks later, it's all fallen by the wayside. We're not exercising. We're not doing anything we said we were going to do. So what I can do is I help people by coaching them along and being their accountability partner, so to speak, so that if as you're working through it, if you hit a snag, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start or what to do next, I can help you move through that process through my Life Organizer Masterclass, or just simply a one-on-one consultation that I can do with people just to get you started and keep you motivated, and so that you actually get it done, because it's really important to have that information available.
Yes. And you say no more searching for every time it's like you gotta, oh, I need my account number. I need my routing number. Oh, wait, how do I get into this password? Oh, this website. Well, what are my 401k? Like what if something goes wrong? How do you able to give that information to someone? It's so important to have this grab and go, like right there, right?
Right.
Because the deed to your
Absolutely.
house or your mortgage, your title to your car, any loan information, it's just
Oh yeah.
people. I mean,
And you're
unfortunately, if you think about it, if you pass away, this happens a lot. Sometimes no one in the family knows where anything is.
Yes, and it takes you, even if you have kids, like my kids live outside of the state of Indiana, so they don't live close by, so they don't even really know who my friends are, who I talk to on a regular basis, who my customers are. So there's a lot of information that you can gather up and make it easy for your next of kin, for anybody that needs to step in and do it. So this is my grab and go binder. It's just a red zippered binder that has a place that I can put all kinds of information in it. And I just tuck the information into the binder itself and then organize it once I've got everything gathered up. And that's how I help people with my Life Organizer system, is to go through and start off very simply with a grab and go binder. And it doesn't have to be a fancy binder. It could just be a place that you keep everything, that you can take it with you if you have to leave your house quickly.
This makes so much sense. And I don't know why people don't have this yet. Remind us how we can contact you, please.
Okay, you can call, my website is lifeorganizercoach.com, and my phone number is 317-399-9905. And you can sign up on the website for a free 30-minute consultation just to see how we could work together and what your needs are and how to get started.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. By the way, I want to point out if you do reach out at lifeorganizercoach.com, make sure you tell them that we sent you. You heard our podcast here. It's always good to know. And do you offer autographed copies of the book?
I can, absolutely.
Hey, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the extra perk.
Absolutely.
Yes. And can we talk? I know you have this Life Organizer Masterclass that's coming up, and that's February 16th. Can you hone in on this live virtual workshop that people can really benefit from?
Yeah, and what we do is we start off with talking about some of the major items that you need to start gathering up. So, do you have a will? Do you have a power of attorney? Do you have a living will? Those kinds of documents that you might need if you have to go to a hospital or something like that. And having your in case of emergency numbers posted on your refrigerator. The person, if the paramedics or ambulance service comes, the first place they look is on your refrigerator to see if there's a contact information that's listed there in case they need to get a hold of somebody else. So then we start talking about categories of things that you would need to gather up. and
Mm-hmm.
having a plan in place to work on one category at a time rather than trying to do everything all at once. So there's a system and a plan for managing that paperwork. And how you gather the information, what you put it in, how you secure it for safety reasons, all of those kinds of things we talk about in the masterclass, so that it's bite-sized pieces so that you can manage the information and gather it over a period of time. And during that 4 or 5 week period of time that we talk, then
Mm-hmm.
we have a chance to ask me questions. I will give you some of the forms that you need. So if you want to use
Awesome.
it in a computer fashion rather than handwriting them, we can do that. And personalized coaching. What's holding you back? Why are you struggling? What are some of the ideas that we can have that we can create a different method that works for you? Because not everybody is the same. And by helping you develop your own personalized system, you will actually get it done. And the hard part is getting it done the first time. After that, keeping it up is pretty
Yeah.
much a piece of cake. It doesn't take
Interesting.
much. Yeah,
Oh, good to know. Well, thank you so much. And also, let's point out for this, you can register right there on the website, correct? And do you
correct.
know, can you tell us how much it costs for the seminar?
The seminar is $297. Um,
Awesome.
and it's weekly coaching and a Zoom call. So it's about an hour each time. So it helps you to get through the whole process. And it's 4 weeks with maybe a bonus if we need it at the end.
Awesome. 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 Good to know. This is exciting. You got to get it together, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Deborah's offering this workshop and it's still open, right? Where it's
Uh,
virtual. So we there's still openings, right? We didn't miss it.
Yep, absolutely. It
All
is
right.
it's virtual so that we can, and you get a lot of feedback from other people in the group as well. So it's not just me giving you advice. There'll be some feedback and some experiences that other people have that you can build on and feel good about
Beautiful.
how it works with you.
Great. Good to know. All right. So, what else did you want to make sure we share with our listeners today?
Well, there's a lot of things that go into making it more comfortable for you to help to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is to know why you're doing it.
Okay.
Developing the why you're going to all the trouble to do this. And sometimes people do decide that they're going to do this for themselves just because they can't stand the mess in their office. They can't, every time they have to find a paper, they dig through piles of, stacks of paper on their
Yep.
desk, files in their file drawer, or maybe even, just
Guilty.
piles on the paper on the floor. You never know where people keep all their information. So having, understanding why you're doing it. So if it's not for yourself, maybe it's because you're motivated to help your kids. You don't want to leave them with a mess. Maybe your parents weren't as organized as you wanted them to be, and they left you with a mess. So you want to take care of that without having to deal with other people. So, why you're doing it is a big part of how we develop the motivation to keep going and what you can do. And by breaking it down into small pieces, then you can stay on track. It doesn't seem so overwhelming to do it when you have a lot of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I use the book, My Life Organizer, as kind of the guideline to go through because it tells you everything you need to gather up. And even if you don't write in the book at all, it's a good way to keep track and start through the process and figuring it out. And since it's available on Amazon, you can get a copy.
Hey, yay, we love hearing that. And go to lifeorganizercoach.com as well. And but order from the website, send her an email, get that autographed copy.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's also the coaching you do, the Kickstarter program done with you. What are those?
Well, some people who live close by in the area may have parents or folks who are elderly and really don't feel comfortable doing it on their own. So if it's not too far away, what I do is actually go to your house and spend the time and actually organize stuff for people. Whether you need to set up bank accounts and bill pay online, those kinds of things. I can help do that. I can help you figure out what kinds of paperwork you need to gather up, especially if you're doing things like Medicare and Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have your physical Social Security card. If you're going on to Medicaid, they require that. So how do you get that information? I can help guide you through some of those processes and actually do the work for you. I also have a corporate caregiver workshop that I put on and this is specifically to different companies. So if you have a company that has a lot of employees who are caregivers, you can offer a workshop for them that's designed specifically for your organization and the people in your community. That is similar to the master class, but it's designed
Mm-hmm.
specifically for companies. So your company could pay for me to come in and do a workshop, a couple of hours or a couple of days, depending on what you need, and give them coaching and resources and ongoing support. So there's a
Beautiful.
lot of options for you. It
Mm-hmm.
just depends. And sometimes that seems like that's overwhelming. But the first thing I would do is sign up for a free 30-minute consultation. I can give you some specific ideas and
Yep.
things that you need to do. And then I can help you figure out what the next step is, whether that's coaching or just buying the book. Um,
Which could help you along the way. Do some people buy the book and then still get coached by you because they're like, we
oh
need
yeah.
extra help? That's
Oh
it.
yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Yes. The book is a good place to start because it gives you some ideas of the things that you need to gather up and how to organize it. But it is it's not necessary, but I find it's very helpful for people to have a copy of the book to look through. And this book has places in it for two households. So if you have your parents' household that you're taking care of, you can put your household information in there as well as theirs. So you have it all in one place and don't have to be searching through a bunch of information to gather up if you need to take care of something.
Can I ask you, just about, organization and all, is it true you're supposed to save your tax returns and all your information for like 7 years? What's the advice on that? Or now is it all digital? So how does that work?
You should keep copies of the information that you have. Some of it is required to keep for 7 years. A lot of it, if you just keep the digital files, you don't have to have, we don't have paperwork files anymore. I was going through figuring out my taxes this week and, copies of my bank statements and my information. I would suggest scanning it into a thumb drive, one of these portable
Got it. The USB. What do we
things,
call them? Yeah.
USB thumb drives, external drive, something, so that you can keep a copy of all of that information. The other thing I suggest people do is do a video of their house, the inside and the exterior of your house. So open up your closets and do a video of what's in them so that if something would happen, you have information about what was in your house and who owned it. You can even talk as you're walking through about who you want to have those things
Mm-hmm.
and at end of life decisions. So there's a lot of things that we can do, and I can share with you as we go through the process of in coaching.
Wonderful. Well, let's remind everyone how we can contact you. I can't believe we've been on for 26 minutes. Time is running out. How do we contact you, Deborah Miller?
My website is lifeorganizercoach.com. My email is life.coach at lifeorganizercoach.com. And my phone number is 317-399-9905. So, go to my website, sign up for a 30-minute free consultation. There's no obligation. I'm happy to help people because that's my passion, is helping people get organized and having their information available in case of an emergency.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the next time we speak. Deborah C. Miller, My Life Organizer. Pick up a copy. Check out the workshop February 16th. She's got so much going on to help you, and feels good to get organized. Thank you again. Have a fantastic day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.